Hi, this is Gigi Johnson, your host of the podcasts Creative Innovators and Innovating Music. And this is a bit of a bonus episode. We're in post-production in our recent episodes, and something keeps coming up in conversations that I wanted to share with you. I've been meeting with a lot of 20-something kids of friends of mine, and the story keeps coming up that ties back to both podcasts. And that is my concept, and other people may call it something else, but my concept of a postcard moment. Now, in career research, there's all sorts of great things about planned happen chance. Glad to put notes in the show notes about that whole concept set. But for me, it started when I was about 20 years old, maybe 19 years old. I'd already met the gentleman that I've now spent several decades of my life with that became my husband. Didn't know that then. I was at the University of Southern California, full scholarship kid, would not have been there otherwise. Love USC, but could not afford it on my own or with my family. And I was an international relations, public relations double major who thought that's what I wanted to do. And I had actually gotten accepted for transfer to Georgetown, and I was trying to figure out how to make that work. And I took a film school class. I went and took what they call Thursday night at the movies. And my grade came back. Now, nowadays, you go online, you may get an email, you go into some system and see your grades. But back in the day, we got postcards. And at the bottom of my postcard that I got with my grade, which was an A, at the bottom, the TA had written, "You should think about applying to USC Film School." And I got that postcard, and I thought, I could apply to USC Film School. I'd never picked up a video camera. I'd written a couple plays. I had been in a lot of theater. I had done a lot of art and graphic art, but nothing involving picking up anything other than a regular inexpensive still picture camera. But I jumped off that cliff, or at least what I thought was a tiny jump at the time. I applied. And then I got accepted. And I was flabbergasted. I actually thought it was a joke. I contacted them to make sure it wasn't a joke. But I stepped off that cliff or off that pier or whatever your metaphor is. And over my life, there have been postcards in my life that have shown up where I'm ready for that choice, that decision. My eyes are open. I'm thinking more broadly. And there's several parts to this. One is that I have to be ready to see the postcard. Otherwise, you get postcards all the time in life. Opportunities show up, and you don't see them as opportunities unless you're at that point where you are needing, ready, aware of change. But the other part is that TA wrote on that postcard that they put out for me an opportunity by raising that flag. And in my life, through my teaching, through all my work, through these podcasts, I put out postcards. And in fact, in the stories of our different guests, there have been postcard moments throughout where something showed up and then they said, I will take that spot. I'm going to go forward and be pulling those threads out of future podcast conversations, but also calling out to them and calling you back to prior postcard moments. But are you ready for seeing the changes in the world? Coming out of the pandemic, are you now looking for something new? And are you looking at either seeing postcards, grabbing postcards, or offering postcards? So I wanted to put that lens out since the postcard theme has come up a couple times a week now in conversations, and I wanted to offer that postcard to you. What are the postcards in your life? Go listen to past episodes and come listen to future episodes and check out the postcards in both Innovating Music and Creative Innovators, and even in the Amplify Music conversations that we did across the pandemic in local markets globally as people were confronting change. What are the postcards that showed up? See you in future episodes.